Take into example this Pakibato Circus bombing that happened in September of
Or against
2012.
civilians, you meant?
Against the military. Kasi nga, or for that matter, against the government.
For example, burning of equipments,
Okay.
killing of the indigenous peoples. These are not against the military.
Hindi, ito yung mga inaakusahan. These are the atrocities committed by the New People's Army.
Exactly.
That are not being investigated by those who call themselves the righteous people. Yung may silang tagapaglaban ng karapatan ng masa. Hindi man lang nila imbestigahan ng New People's Army. Itong nangyari sa Pakibato Circus bombing. Immediately when that incident happened, this organization, this allied organization of the New People's Army immediately blamed the incident to the soldiers. They even stated that a soldier who is drunk is the one responsible in grenade throwing. Immediately, after 1 hour, 30 minutes, nagrally na sila dyan sa the following day.
So, do you mean to say they concocted a story?
Exactly. They are masters.
Which was proven later on as not true. By the admission
of the NPAs themselves, they were the ones who are responsible in
throwing that grenade.
Parang yung Plaza Miranda bombing. For all we know, lahat since day one, the people have blamed, or they have concocted that they blamed the government in throwing that grenade in Plaza Miranda. And later did we know that somebody from the organization, Victor Corpus, revealed that the New People's Army is the one responsible in Plaza Miranda. Ito pa, sir. Magaling silang, I call them the masters of deceit.
Deception.
Masters of deception and experts in lying. They are really very good. These organizations affiliated with the New People's Army is really very good in building lies, building stories that are purely lies.
But you're not referring to the New People's Army?
No.
You are referring to the legal...
the New People's Army, the affiliate organization.
Affiliate organization.
There are a lot of affiliate organizations who are actually defending the New People's Army. Makikita mo sila, pagka may nahuli ang pulis at sundalo na armado na New People's Army, sila ang magdedepensa kagad yan. Sila ang magrarally yan. Pakawalan itong mga commander ng New People's Army na ito. Very obvious, nandyan lang sila. They are the ones in the streets. Etong rally dito sa DSWD, the latest rally here.
The Barug sa Katawan.
Led by the Barug sa Katawan. We have found out that there are members of the New People's Army in that rally.
Paano nyo nalaman na...
May mga pictures kami eh.
We
have picture galleries.
Okay.
We have picture galleries. Yung mga nakuha rin ng media, when they interview the New People's Army, ginagather namin yun. Kukuha namin yun sa footage sa TV. So, tinitingnan namin, we have two identified New People's Army active armed member.
What does it say? What does it say?
So, let the people judge. Sa
iyong interpretation, paano nagkaroon ng New People's Army in a so-called legitimate demands of the people for humanitarian aid?
Sad thing there, Sir Ed, is it is a legitimate demand. However, they are being exploited. Number one, doon sa rally sa Monte Vista, ano sinabi nitong mga organizers na ito? Sinabi nila pupunta si Manny Pacquiao, doon magkakandak ng kanyang show. Pupunta si Vice Mayor Duterte, pupunta sa Monte Vista at magdidistribute ng isang sakong bigas. Kaya nagpuntahan doon yung mga biktima ng nung Typhoon Pablo dahil napaniwala nila. Ibig sabihin, biktima na nga sila, binugbog na sila ng Typhoon Pablo, niloko pa sila nitong mga organisadong grupo dito. Eto, nagpunta sila dito sa DSWD, anong sinabi nila? Diyan daw magdi-distribute ng 4-piece ang DSWD. Diyan daw
kaya maraming sumama.
Kaya ang daming nagsamahan diyan. At the same time, 70% of those who were in the rally are coming from Davao City.
Okay. Now, leaving that behind us, yung mga incidents na yun, let's go to some form of analysis, assessment. Sa palagay ba ninyo, lumalakas, humihina, o pareho lang ang armed group, ang National Democratic Front, ang Communist Party of the Philippines? Kasi tatlong organization yan.
Yes.
So ano yung assessment ninyo?
The IPSP Bayanihan has proven, based from our statistics also, that the organization of the CPP-NPA and DF is already waning. You know, Sir Ed, their strength, the strength of the CPP-NPA and DF is their ability to organize. They are very good in organizing the masses. Their arm, yung armas talaga nila, is not the physical arm of M16, kanyon, tanke. No, their arm is actually the issues. They are using these issues in order to convince the people to join them. Now, in IPSP Bayanihan, we have to solve the issues. So, once everybody converge to solve the issue, to deliver the basic services, so then, therefore, there is no more reason for them, for the CPP-NPA and DF, to be able to organize. Therefore, if you solve the issues, deliver the basic services, answer the problems of the masses, then the CPP-NPA and DF will become irrelevant.
So how is it now? Anong bottom line natin? They increase, decrease in numbers in Revolutionary Fronts, in organized groups, in memberships in New People's Army?
From its implementation in January 2011, actually here at 10th Infantry Division, we started it earlier on August of 2010. From the inception of the IPSP Bayanihan and applied here in Davao region, Soc-Sargent area, we found out already that the strength has waned. The mass support has is shifted from the New People's Army to the government. Not only the AFP but the government. The local government units, the local chief executives have already adopted the Peace and Development Outreach Program, which is, ito yung subset ng IPSP Bayanihan.
Yeah.
It has adopted the program as a program of the local government.
But Major Obligado, well, it's easy to say that they have the wane, no? But can you explain the indicators?
The indicators is the number.
The numbers.
The numbers. We
terms-
have,
in terms of what?
in terms of surrender, we have increased surrender. Yung sinasabi kong 2006 to 2011 data na 881, 54% of that surrendered from 2010 to 2011. Ibig sabihin, in 6 years' time, 1 year lang nakuha natin yung 54%.
And that was during the implementation of the...
That was during the implementation of the Peace and Development Outreach Program, which is the subset of the IPSP.
So this is a very clear indicator.
Yes, that is a very clear indicator that 54% of the total surrenderers from 2006 to 2011 was when the Peace and Development Outreach Program was implemented. Second, before, the local chief executives and other sectors of society are really antagonized by the presence of the military alone. Now, they are even the ones.
Ngayon, welcome na
They are
welcome na.
very much welcome by these local
At gumagasto pa sila.
Exactly, because they have seen the Peace and Development Outreach Program as also their own. They have co-ownership already of this program. Programs for the farmer sector, for the youth sector, for the education sector, and others.
But again, maganda yung mga, you're painting a good scenario of the security situation on the ground. But still, we see almost daily, in a week's time, tatlong incidents of violence, no, against civilians. Not against the military, not against the CAFGO, but against civilian instruments, equipments, facilities, yung pagmamayari ng mga civilian. For these people, lalo na most recently, kailan ba yun? Kagabi?
Yes.
Here in Davao City itself, a heavy equipment owned by a contractor was burned somewhere along the Diversion Road.
Yes.
And allegedly, it's caused by the New People's Army. So, paano mo ngayon idugtong yung good scenario, as you explained, as to what the private sector, what the civilians are experiencing?
This is part of their strategy. Ang strategy nila is kill one and to terrorize 1,000. That is part of their strategy. since they are already
Kill one
to terrorize 1,000.
to terrorize 1,000.
So that is part of their strategy. They would want to project themselves as a force to be reckoned with. So, pero pagdating sa tunay na number nila, gusto lang nila ipakita na meron pa silang lakas.
But medyo obligado, papunta tayong election, di ba? So, and this, yung sinusunog nila are rich in money. Ito yung mga kontraktor.
Yes.
So, wala ka bang nakikitang link between the election and the burning or the yung tinatawag na for monetary considerations o ano? Meron na bang nagkikwento ng mga ganun?
Ganito yan, Sir Ed. No? They will sow fear
Okay.
for them to be able to collect.
Para mag-give in yung iba?
But the challenge there, Sir Ed, is like this.
Okay, challenge, and what do you advise to this private?
The challenge there is, of course, when we give in to the demand, parang buhaya yan eh. Parang buhaya na maliit lang. Pagka maliit pa yung buhaya, pwede mo pang himasimasin, pakainin, subu-subuan. Pero pagka lumalaki na yung buhaya, baka ikaw na mismo kakainin niya. So, ibig sabihin nito, when the demand is still good, parang, small, pagbibigyan mo pa yan eh. So, actually, pagka lumaki na yung demand, ganun na, hindi na nila kaya, papatayin na sila nung new people.
I think yung sinasabi mo na yan, that's a good research subject. Yung idea of giving and pinapalaki mo yung kumakain, at the same, on the other hand,
wala na siyang,
yung idea na not giving,
yes.
and in fact, pinapamaliit mo o pinapatay mo yung kumakain. Kasi I read in the national paper a one-page ad by Globe, yung cellphone operator, no? They said, based on their statistics and data, it was even more efficient and effective na hindi magbigay.
Exactly, sir.
Instead, ang ginagawa nila, they invest on their own security. Security not by arms alone, but also by helping the people, the communities around, living around their facilities. So I'm talking about the towers, yung mga, anong tawag yan? Yung nagdadala ng signal?
Mga networks.
Cell sites.
Networks.
Yung cell sites na ng Globe. Yun pala, inaalagaan nila yung mga taong
Community.
na
To protect that installation.
to protect the installation.
Yes.
Aside from security personnel also in that area. They said na, after all, mas efficient, mas kukunti at kumukunti daw. Yun na yung theory mo eh.
Sir Ed, ganito yan. Pumunta na lang tayo dun sa baryo. Bakit mahal ang bilihin dun sa tindahan?
Okay.
Tanungin natin yung mga may-ari ng dun sa barangay, no? Bakit mahal ang isang posporo? Bakit mahal ang isang supot ng asin? Bakit mahal ang bigas? Dahil kinokolektahan, pinipilit kolektahan ito ng mga New People's Army. Ngayon, sino magsasuffer dun sa bumibili ng mga commodities dun sa tindahan, dun sa sari-sari store?
Talaga,
So therefore, ang nagpapa-suffer sa mga masa ay ito yung koleksyon ng New People's Army. Pagka kinolektahan ng tindahan, anong gagawin ng tindahan? Ibabalik din sa masa ang presyo ng commodity. Babayaran yun ng masa. Instead na siguro 2 piso o piso lang yung posporo, ibebenta niya ng 3 piso. Dahil gusto niyang bumawi doon sa kinokolektahan sa kanya ng New People's Army. So, ibig sabihin, sinasabi ko kanina si Red, insurgency worsens poverty. So, once the New People's Army collects dun sa sari-sari store, ipinapasa ng sari-sari store dun sa masa. So, who suffers? Yung masa. Ibig sabihin, lalong pinapahirapan nitong New People's Army and their allied organizations yung masa. Therefore,
that's a very conclusive statement, Major Obligado. And I hope this program, Pambansang Dialogo, will be able to invite also representatives of the progressive groups or other groups that would like to, or the academe who maybe they have the baka naman meron silang sarili nilang analysis or assessment sa security issues that we have discussed for the past 40 or 50 minutes, and to give our audience the more ideas about these things, para hindi naman sabihin nila na idea lang yan ng military. Baka naman yung ibang sektor ng community, iba rin ang kanyang contribution. But as your parting statement, Major Obligado, what then is your recommendations to move forward as far as the security policy is concerned?
Thank you very much, Sir Ed, for this opportunity. Para sa ating mga kababayan na itong dialogue na to ay napalaking tulong para sa lahat, hindi lang sa amin sa security sector, but of all the sectors of society. Para sa ating lahat, ang insurgency, tulad ng ating nabanggit, itong rebellion, lalo na ng New People's Army, hindi kayang isolve ito ng mga military lang. Hindi rin kayang isolve ito ng pulis lang. Hindi rin kayang isolve ito ng gobyerno lang, or hindi kayang isolve ito ng civil society organizations. What we need here is bayanihan. Tulungan tayo rito. Sama-sama tayo. Let us have cooperation. Let us shift paradigm from conflict management to cooperation management. Itong aming programang Bayanihan, ay kaya nga tinawag naming Bayanihan, ay dahil ito ay isang pambansang pagsasama-sama, pambansang tulungan, pambansang kolaborasyon para sa isang layunin. Ano ang ating layunin? Para magkaroon tayo ng tunay na kapayapaan at kaunlaran. Tandaan po natin sana, mga kababayan, na tanggalin natin yung premise na poverty is the reason for insurgency. Mali po yun. Insurgency worsens poverty. So therefore, if we really would want to solve insurgency, let us solve, poverty, let us solve insurgency, and we can only do this through a collaborated effort of all of us. It's a whole-of-nation approach. It's the Bayanihan approach. Thank you.
Well, isang hirit lang, Major Obligado, na tanong. Itong New People's Army, the traditional thinking is, especially the government framework, these are people, part of it is the armed group of a political organization, the Communist Party of the Philippines, and the Broad Coalition National Democratic Front. The way they are now behaving, the way that civilians are being affected by the atrocities of this armed conflict, do you see a shift, briefly lang siguro, do you see a shift in the direction of the mga kapatid nating nasa New People's Army, shift in targets, or maybe if you can cite, I don't know, if you have a summary of incidents, i-compare how many atrocities ang nangyari against the army, how many are against the civilians. Briefly, anong sense mo dyan?
Lumalaki po ang kanilang atrocity against the civilians. For example, itong mga lumads tinatarget nila dahil nare-realize na ng ating lalo ng mga tribal chieftains, nag-shift na ng support kasi ang masa, tulad nga ng nabanggit ko kanina sa Red, na yung kusina nawawala na sa kanila. Nawawala na sila ng pinaglulutuan, nawawala na sila ng pagkain. Wala na silang suporta ng masa. Ang suporta ng masa dito yung pinaka-importante.
So, papasok na yung idea mo kanina, kill one and...
Exactly, Sir Red. Kinakailangan nilang gawin ito para gusto na matakot na naman nila yung
isang
bayan. Pero ang challenge dyan, Sir Red, is ganito. Pagka ikaw lang ang tinakot at hindi ka nakipagtulungan sa ating pamahalaan at sa ating lahat, the civil society and the media, of course, hindi mo masosolve yan.
So you have to come out?
You have to come out. You have to... ganito yan think of what you can do today para makapag-benefit yung the next generation. The reason why we are focusing on our programs, particularly on the youth sector, particularly
kasi sila ang future ng
ating 86% Sir Ed. So sa ating mga magulang, bantayan nyo po ang ating mga kabataan. bantayan po ninyo ang ating mga local government unit, local officials, 86% ho sa mga nagrebelde na nag-surrender sa gobyerno ay kabataan. 74% are lumads, grade 3 ang kanilang napag-aralan, at 69% are coming from the farmer sector. Kung ma-solve natin tong apat na program o na issues na ito, then the reason for insurgency will become irrelevant.
So with those words of advice to our televiewers, we end this program, this episode of Pambansang Dialogo. In behalf of Pambansang Dialogo, I thank Major Obligado, that the Battalion Commander of the Civil Military Operations or Civil Military Office of the 10th Infantry Division of the Eastern Mindanao Command. So again, this is your host of Pambansang Dialogo, Ed Dayang Hirang, saying good day and thank you.